And I think that was the most, like, one of the first most, like, heartbreaking, opening, expanding, rubber meeting the road kind of experiences for me personally, where I really forced myself into total commitment for my awakening. And I started seeing from one moment to the next that I could either suffer completely to the point of devastation, because that was everything to me, like relationship or commitment was everything to me. And so for that to be, for that to break up was, for that personality that at the time I thought I was the most killing death thing that could happen. So I noticed that, so I had these experiences of constant despair and depression. And then I noticed suddenly, I was brushing my teeth, I think, and I noticed that, hey, wait a second. When I look over here, which is just symbolizes like consciousness, I think I had a picture of the sky, for example. When I focus on the sky, like sky-like spaciousness, I don't experience any depression. And then as soon as I focus on that thought, whoa, this whole experience comes back rushing in. And then I started to play with that. I was like, why? Well, I've spent now a month like being absolutely devastated, not knowing what to do with my life. I've had that. It's okay. Like, I'm still a little bit attached to it. I still want a little more of that grieving and that sadness and that victimization, and I still want to point fingers, and I still want her to know how I feel. But also, I was sufficiently tired of it that it seemed inspiring, or at least I had enough motivation to also choose the courage to transcend my biased self. So as I noticed that I actually had the option to not suffer, I could go back and forth. I started playing with it like a light switch. Oh, wait a second. Okay, let me have 10 seconds of absolute misery. Oh, shit. And it was almost hard to get back at times. But actually, it wasn't, I noticed. It wasn't that hard to get back. It's almost like they coexist. And then I chose to shut that down for a second, or to simply just completely shift my consciousness to the best of my ability to this sky-like consciousness. Hey, whee! And I had absolute bliss. And I hope nobody was watching me, because it was like absolute despair and absolute bliss, absolute despair, absolute bliss. And so I did this a few times, and a few times was all that I really needed to see like how clearly this is the truth of it. And then I made the choice, fuck it, I don't even give a shit about her, you know, or my depression, or my misery, or her seeing like how bad she's treated me in the last month. I don't care about that. There's no benefit in that. So I choose awakening in that sense. So that was one of the first, most powerful experiences where I challenged myself to that extent.
Yes. And it is something that we use with each other. I'm sure you guys also have had this in your kiddo, but especially with the team, and Bentinho will do this all the time. And if you're explaining something to him, and he'll just be like, "And how does that feel?"
Yeah.
And it's like a, case closed. So yeah, it's definitely a tool that we all use like regularly. And I think the better that we get at this, it just like, but you can do it all the time. It's like, it's all the time. There's some level of sort of interpretation going on. And like this is a practice that you can take all the way. It's like, does this thought or approach or moment bring more ease and like alignment? Or does it make it more serious, more contracted, more real, more heavy,